Microphone check 321 321 321 321 321. Good morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. We are reporting to you on our app and live here from the Coast TV Weather Center. We are starting to see the evidence of the scattered snow showers beginning to make a significant impact throughout portions of the entire state. Now, for the most part, we are indeed seeing the northern portions of the state already receiving in excess of even 4 inches of snow in the most northern tip of Delaware. Now, we, of course, are on the bottom half there in Sussex County for the most part, portions of Kent and Sussex County, and central and southern portions of the Delmarva Peninsula. Let me give you a view here of what's happening. Now, this is a live view right now in Milford, and you can see that we're seeing the snow that's manifesting itself pretty quickly and efficiently throughout a good portion of Milford right now, with the temperatures holding at 33 degrees, dew point temperature at 30. Now, you got to remember the way that we take measurements. The observation unit is actually a few feet above the ground, so we're definitely below freezing actually in the Milford area. And for those who have already been asking online, we expect for this snow to stick around. This is not going to be one of those cases where the snow is going to melt away very quickly after it falls on the ground. Now, here's our expectation, and a couple of these things we're going to be going over. First of all, Milford, and this is something we can carry throughout several of our locations. We're looking for the snow shower activity to continue until at least the mid-morning hours, and then following that, you see that thing at 11 o'clock right there, that wind symbol? That's one of the caveats that I want you to keep in mind, or keep in the back of your mind, because when the snow event stops, that's when I know that the dangerous cold will really begin and kick in significantly for us. And so this is going to be a time where you will not be able to function properly outside without being in layered clothing. You really want to avoid being outside, particularly if you have heart conditions and all of that. So first and foremost, let's start with generalities. We're looking at a range between 1 to 2 inches of snow throughout most of Sussex. I believe that we're still holding true to that. The latest model run this morning is not showing that that's necessarily changed all that much. So I don't see a need to augment that part of our forecast at this point. I am looking at a coating or so towards Chincoteague, and as I begin to shift over towards our live radar rendition, you kind of see that this is kind of verifying for the most part. Now you'll also notice in the extreme top of the screen where it says 3+, that's already hit. So we've already observed over 3 inches of snow north of Dover at this present time, and you'll see that as we begin to take a look at some of the snowfall totals, which we see right here, right now. I'm going to put it on full screen for you so you can see it a little bit better. So just so you'll know, the most northern portions of Greenville, not Greenwood, but Greenville, they've already received over 4 inches of snow there. Glasgow has already received nearly 3 inches, and it's probably at 3 inches now since I've tabulated this amount. Smyrna, 1.5 inches. Woodside, 7/10. Same holds true for Dover and Frederica. We have a trace that's officially fallen there. Now, we are going to be looking at Milford, and we're starting to see the accumulation come through for Milford. But once again, this is now an ongoing event. Here's a look at what's happening with the snow shower activity. Now, we're taking a look over towards the Cambridge area right now. We can see moderate to steady snow showers begin to make its way across Highway 16 as well as 50, Linkwood, Reeds Grove, as well as Sharptown, Federalsburg, and Mardella Springs. So the roads have already begun to get a bit slick for us along Highway 16, Highway 50, and Highway 313, going from Seaford south of Federalsburg and headed towards Linkwood. Now I'm shifting over towards and focusing on Sussex County right now, and you can see that it's overtaking the what I would call the Highway 13 corridor, Laurel, Seaford, Bridgeville, and those areas, and it's already beginning to overtake Melson, as well as down towards Highway 30 going towards Carytown. Selbyville's starting to see some scattered snow showers manifest right now, and this is steadily moving, tracking towards the east pretty steadily at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Here's a little wider view of what we're talking about. Now, the white is obviously showing you our expectation as far as the snow is concerned. So once again, just in case you were wondering, the green is showing where we have the rain, the white, not cloud cover in this case. This is actually showing snowfall, okay? And so the white that you see on your screen, I'll put it back full screen for you. The white that you see on the screen is indicating that we're looking at the snow shower activity, and that's overtaking. Now the entire state is underneath the thumb of the snow showers. So we're expecting between 2 to 4 inches, well, 1 to 4 throughout the entire state from bottom to top. And I anticipate as I widen the view here that we're going to be dealing with this probably for the next 3 to 4 hours. And that's being relatively conservative at this point. As far as what our advisories and warnings are at this point, we do have a winter weather advisory that will stay in effect until 1 o'clock Sunday this afternoon. Now, what that means when we say a winter weather advisory, that means that we have the potential of 2 to 4 inches of snow. That's usually that advisory range. And then following that, here's a very interesting concern, and this is why I've been talking about this being a bigger concern than even the amount of snow. We have what's called a cold weather advisory. Now, a cold weather advisory is talking about conditions that are set up so that we have such a dramatic drop in temperature that it can cause significant problems for folks who have chronic medical problems. It can cause problems for pets if they're left outside for an extended period of time. And this is for the most southern portions of our viewing area. So this is actually where you have the warm air in place. So we're looking at a cold weather advisory for Ocean Pines, Newark, Gulf, Club Shores, Snow Hill, Corbin, Girdle Tree, Figs Landing, Pocomoke City, Cokesbury. That is actually where we have the section of warmer air. Now, we also have that cold weather advisory that's in effect for the folks in Cambridge along Highway 50, Seward, Andrews, Taylor's Island, Vienna, Quantico, Hurlock, and James community. So following this snow, immediately following this snow event, we're going to be dealing with significant amount of cold air where the wind chill factor is going to drop to single digits. And we're talking about 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5, not necessarily 9 or 8. So that's a significant drop there. Now we can see the wider view at this point, and this is sliding through with Chincoteague, Endicott, and Nassauattucks. That's where they're seeing basically a bit of sleet action that's happening right now. We have a significant pocket of cold air that's going to keep our precipitation in the form of snow. So now we're going to take a look at our forecasting models, because I'm doing right now, we're going through a lot more detail than we typically have the opportunity on the air live. Right now we're looking at our future snow. Now I've broken down our area specifically community-wide. So we're going to take a look at central portions of Sussex County, and then we're going to specifically take a look at the snowfall expectations and timing for the beaches. All right? Now, here's what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and go full screen here. So at 9:30, we are looking at the snowfall to range right around, let's say, 3/4 of an inch in Seaford, just over 1/2 inch for us in Delmar, 3/4 of an inch in Georgetown, approaching an inch for us actually in Milton. Now, we're looking at this happening right about 9:30, okay? And so we're looking at right along Highway 13, that's where we begin, and then along Highway 30, slick roads are going to be happening here. Highway 24, which you see I'm following along with the cursor here, and then 9. I'm expecting, particularly between Georgetown and Lewis, I'm looking for Highway 9 to become very hard to negotiate. Now, as we go through the timeline here, we switched up, all right? So you'll notice now we're talking about lunchtime, 12:30, okay? What are we expecting? Well, our forecast models are saying at least 1 1/4, a little bit over that in Seaford. Same holds true in expectation for us in Georgetown, a little bit more in Ellendale at 1.38 and Milton 1.38. We're looking at approaching a full inch of snow in Lewis, 1.15 in Millsboro and 1.12 in Delmar. This is what we're expecting right around 12:30, and that's why we're here giving you hour by hour analysis on what's happening with this. Now, after about that time, I don't anticipate much more in the way of snow shower activity. Now, let's change gears and take a look at it from the beaches, okay? So we're looking at 8:30. We're looking at 8:30. We're looking at nearly a 1/2 inch for us actually in Milton, 1/4 of an inch of snow expected in Lewis, Long Neck. But look, here's what we're expecting in Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, and Fenwick Island, all right? So we're going to be under 1/4 of an inch for us by 8:30. Now we're going to change the timeline here, and we're at 12:30 now. So what's the difference here? Well, the difference is that we're going to be bumping up to near a full inch in Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, and Lewis, still holding at 0.94 with this model. Long Neck, we're expecting you to surpass 1 inch of snowfall likely there at 1.05. We're going to hold pretty steadily at Bethany Beach and Fenwick Island at about 3/4 of an inch after lunchtime. Now, following lunchtime, I'm not expecting much more if our models hold true to form. So when you take a look at our potential snowfall for today, we're looking pretty steadfast and pretty consistent with our expectations here for that snow. Now, here comes the second part of my concern for this snow event in general. I consider it part 1 and part 2, and after we wind up part 2, then I'll go ahead and release you from this report. The second part of this, and really my greatest concern, is really the cold wind chills. And all wind chills are cold, I get that, but this is going to be really jarring for us because everything's regional. You think about it. If we lived in Alaska, it'd be a whole different ball game, but we don't. We live in the coast. And so this is going to be jarring. First of all, let's set the stage properly. We're looking at future wind gusts. For example, Sunday evening, we're looking at 39 to near 40 mile per hour wind gusts here. And the winds are coming out of the northwest, so that makes it even that much more a cutting kind of a wind that's going to push through. By 11:30, we're still looking at winds racing out of the northwest between 29 to 36 mile per hour wind gusts. And even going into Monday, even though the velocity lessens a bit for us, we still anticipate that it's going to stay very vibrant coming out of this northwest for an extended period of time. Here's what it's going to feel like, okay? So right around 2 p.m., we're looking at the wind chill factor to drop to 12 in Lewis, 11 in Milton, Ellendale, Georgetown, Seaford. We're going to drop down to 12 in Millsboro. Now, mind you, this is 2 o'clock this afternoon, all right? We're going to drop down to 14 in Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, Bethany Beach, Fenwick Island, and 14 degrees for us, actually, Ocean City, 12 in Lewis. Now, why am I concerned about this cold air? Here we go. This is one of the reasons why. Look at what we anticipate right around 9:30. It's going to feel like 3 degrees in Ellendale, Milton, and Georgetown, Millsboro. We're looking at 4 for the wind chill in Selbyville, 5 along the beaches, Bethany Beach and Fenwick Island, 5 in Berlin. It's going to feel like 4 in Seaford, 6 Delmar, and 6, for example, in Rehoboth. As we go into Monday morning, I don't see much of a change other than just staying single digits. By 5 o'clock, we're looking at 4s, 3s, and 5s across our region. And then even by the time we recover for Monday afternoon,
we're still looking at the likelihood of it being right around in the lower teens, and this is going into early Tuesday morning. So that's why we're concerned about that. Frost potential and freeze potential, I mean, we're looking at hard freeze for really Monday as well as Tuesday and Wednesday. And so when we're talking about a hard freeze, this is also going to bring about concern as far as maintenance of your pipes and the fittings that are around your house, and any kind of water that's standing. As it freezes, it could cause some expansion and cause some breaks and things like that to occur. So I want you to be very mindful of the residual effects of that cold air. So yeah, we're looking at bitterly cold air mass that's going to stay in effect for us throughout the entire Northeast. Now, we are going to keep you updated on what's happening with this weather forecast and our developing snow shower activity continuously throughout this Sunday. And if you have any concerns, if you have any observations, feel free to send us some pictures courtesy of our Facebook page. We'd love to give you credit for sending that to us, but we want to basically continue to keep our eyes to the skies on how things are developing. We have all of our reporters that are out gathering information and gathering some imagery of what's happening with this snowfall activity as it begins to push across the region, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening, on the latest twists and turns of all the advisories that are going to be in effect in our area, okay? Once again, just to remind you, we're going to be under the thumb of this bitter, cold weather for the entire day, going into the next couple of days in a row. All right? I'm Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams, live from the Coast TV Weather Center. Stay warm and stay bundled up, folks.